Hi, I'm Alex Levin. We're here for about a half hour of getting present. Thank you for joining me here through the Sun and Moon Yoga Studio community. Get what you need if you haven't already to be comfortable for a little gentle movement, for sitting and listening or lying and listening, little gentle movement, and then stillness, which you could be sitting for that, for usually known as meditation, or you could be lying down, you could be walking. I joined Jackie's meditation on Friday mornings, which Chris Clardy now is leading lately, and I'm walking with my dog, and my phone is in my pocket, and I'm listening to the guided meditation. And I'm with those people who are there virtually on the Zoom call, and it's fabulous. Surprise of surprises, it's really fabulous. So you could be walking, listening to this, and joining us. So first, we'll arrive, and I would like to invite you for this first portion, as I'm talking a little bit about my theme, to be in a forward fold. So that might look like, if you're watching, it might look like a seated forward fold, like a yin pose, very comfortable. It might be a child's pose. It might be that you're lying on your side and you curl up, what we call seed pose, and that's essentially the body in a forward fold. Might be you're lying on your back and you pull your knees in towards your chest. So those are some of the ways we could be in a forward fold to arrive here now and go through our the checklist I use so often, that I've received from my teachers in the Embodied Life School, of ground, sound, breath. These pointers that are so helpful as a portal to bring us right in this present moment. And actually, the present moment is also a portal. I just got this clarified. I'd always thought of it as that's what we, in a way, that's what we are. But the present moment is always here, right? Or it's that awareness with a capital A, that absolute with a capital A, that G with a God with a capital G, that which is unchanging, always, that which is timeless, formless, has no place, location, but is ever present, ever here. And it is ourself. And that's a huge part of what we're tapping into in this practice. And so the first step is often really good to just come into the body. It could be the breath, it could be sound. As you're hearing those words, receiving them, even if you're not sure what the code is for them, or the bit I'm about to elaborate on, they might already be guiding you to being right here, coming home to this what is ourself. So ground, as you're feeling it in whatever shape your body is in, and whatever is underneath you. If you're in a underwater or you're out in space outside the Earth's atmosphere, it's a little bit different, but I'm assuming that you're somewhere in a building or in a park or on a sidewalk or on a bed, in a chair, and there's something solid underneath us, something solid. And sensing into that through the miraculous systems of our body, the intricate systems. So through the skin, it's seemingly that's just part of it, but it's through our bones, our skin, our nervous system. We are receiving the feel of the ground and the invisible field of gravity, but very palpable, that holds us in place. Otherwise, we'd be floating around like we would be in space or in water, sort of more buoyant. And you may be sensing how that anchors us right here, while very much receptive to thought that might take us to the past or the future. There's a quieting that begins to happen when we're right here, or it could be an increase in thought that might be happening. But these pointers of ground, breath, sound, in my experience, do have a potent way of bringing the stillness and silence more to the foreground. If you're sitting or in a position, maybe even if you're lying down on your back or on your side, if you're in child's pose, this could be a little difficult, but maybe possible to extend your arms forward and to bring your hands in interlacing the fingers, but the index fingers pointing forward, and then cross the thumbs. That's a gesture, a mudra that that adds to the feeling of groundedness. Can add to that. When it's kind of pointed down to the earth or laid down on the ground. And breath. Certainly watching, feeling the breath as it is right now, and it's we're in the place of its wave of action coming through us. It's like we're the surfer on a wave where we need to be right where in that point we are on the wave as we watch it. And then sound. Perhaps you're sensing a fuzziness in the sound that's the fan in the background. I very lightly hear some birds beyond that fan hum. And as we tune into sound, slightly backgrounding the ground and the breath, but we can kind of have enough space to include that as well. Sound is a beautiful way of capturing for us effortlessly this connection of the inner and outer, the seamless oneness of the inner and outer. The mechanisms that allow us to hear sound are within us, but they're inseparable from the waves of sound coming to us. And possibly you could do this from wherever you are. If you're lying on your side, you might need to roll to your back to do this. And just going to do some movements focused on the neck area, but of course, keep some awareness of the head and the whole body. This small connector. You can release the mudra and just tuck the chin toward the chest. If you're lying down, that might be a lifting of the head, and you could use your arms to help. And just trace a line with your nose that goes way up into the air and then comes back down in front of you. Looks towards your belly, towards your legs. Breathing comfortably. Maybe the arms participate in some way. And maybe the whole spine is also changing its form. But my purpose is more about the neck here. So keeping the spine more neutral is the idea I'm having that will emphasize and accentuate what we feel in the neck. And then coming to just center where we started and simply pausing and noticing, even with that slight movement, something new is here, something that might surprise you. When we slow down or when we don't have to be slowed down to have a surprise come at us, but when there might be a more potential for something new to arrive that is unexpected when we allow some space to be surprised, to be open to what we haven't yet known. It's a field of creativity that can be crowded out when we're too much staying in what's familiar and comfortable, and putting too tight of a control on that. Right, so now let's go in the we were in the yes direction, and then now the no, at least in our cultures, side to side, just keeping the upper heart open as we turn our head slowly side to side. And we might even be aware that our eyes are also, whether open or closed, are also scanning, and they may be going right with the nose, or perhaps the eyes go a little farther to the right and farther to the left. And now, as you turn your head way over to one side, go ahead and turn your torso a bit to that side as well. And I'm placing my hands on the ground, but if you're on your back, you can just kind of twist a little more um, in that direction. The legs might even bend and go in the opposite direction if you're on your back. And now, squeeze the shoulder behind you and the back of the head together and release. And squeeze the back of the head and shoulder to get up toward the back of the head and release. And one more time. Noticing breathing is here and the rest of the body, the space around us is here, the ground under us. And then coming back to center and just pause here for a moment. Arrive in a pause that often after movement is a little more empty than before, a little bit more open and available. And then turning our head and torso to the other side and arms wherever they might support this position best. And then lifting, notice I moved my arm to just be relaxed so the shoulder behind my head can scrunch up and the head tilt back to meet it. A sort of a squeeze of the back side of the neck and shoulder area, upper back. One of my favorite little movements. And one more time, about 3 or 4 squeezes total. Come back to center, and I'm just needing to stretch my leg out. You can, an illustration of doing what you need to do to keep yourself comfortable. Just arriving here again and again. And now keeping the spine long and the upper chest open, which is easy if you're laying down. If you're sitting up, it might take a little checking in. And letting the chin lower toward the chest, but keeping the chest available upward, buoyant, the heart area. And then just tilting the chin up toward the shoulder while the head is forward. So if you're on your back, you might be using your arms to help you with this a little bit, and just take your breaks as you need. And just a side to side as if a little pendulum. Mhm. Breathing, sensing the support of the ground, the support of gravity, into center and slowly lifting back up through the center. And then just pausing here. I titled this episode Surprise, kind of having experiencing one this morning on the dog walk, which my husband joined me for. We walked to, the aim was to walk to a coffee shop nearby. But on the way, I'd forgotten Sunday morning, there's a market that I rarely go to. And it wasn't open yet. It was just setting up when we arrived to the coffee shop nearby. And what a beautiful surprise on a very comfortable summer morning. It was just an added beauty of flowers and breads and meats and cheeses to delight our senses and walk through on the way back. And I've been thinking yesterday, conversing with one of my friends and fellow yogini, on how valuable the meditation practice is to allow us to keep grounded during times of during difficulties, and keep a sense of presence and available choices, more available choices if we're steady and not just thrown off balance by difficult surprises, but also the field that's available of creative solution and creativity in general, that do come often as surprises, but delicious surprises. And then I'm also thinking of how we respond to surprise and fun surprises, as I got something in the mail yesterday. It's rare to get anything but junk mail these days, the snail mail. But the feeling of that, as I'm talking, I hope you're conjuring up what that is like, of receiving a fun surprise, what it's like in your body as well as in your mind, in your emotional life. And then perhaps with the safety of this space, of our community, of this practice, perhaps conjure up a surprise that is more difficult, something that typically or did throw you off balance or made you angry or And if possible, bring a specific, a particular and real, or it could be fictionalized, but something that you might experience or might have experienced similarly to mind. Maybe it was a task that was given you that landed in your desk or on your inbox that just you didn't have time for, was aggravating. Maybe it was the way a friend reacted that caused disappointment. And again, the invitation is to, as we bring this into technicolor and even maybe with sounds and smells and the place you were, what surrounded you, what the body feeling, and you might feel the clenching in your stomach or the heat that arises or the agitation color of the flowers and vibrance of this clear morning and the shade of the tents or the farmer's market. And leave that or draw from that to feel the where you are right here now again. And you might choose to do the meditation piece just from where you are, or make a transition mindfully as we begin this 6 minute stillness. And take care of the posture, even if you're just laying down, in a way that ensures a stability and support that can carry you through this short time. There might be a surprise discomfort, but we do our best to just set ourselves up for success, for the stillness. We can revisit the feel, the way through our body we know the ground is here for us. The buoyancy and support of each in and out breath. And the ever exchange of sound and all that surrounds us, coming and going, comes through us, comes through our sensing, receiving, and giving back out. Just being here. With the stability that we've established and with the openness we've also intended. perhaps journeying with joy. Couple more breaths together here. So thank you for joining me today. And as we bring our palms together at the heart, if that feels right for you for this transition, perhaps hands stacked on your front heart. And I invite us to continue our practice throughout the day of just being more mindful, which in some ways seems like it takes energy, but actually, as we tap into the more of than what is here, that we usually are caught in the limitation of our thinking. And when we open to the more of beyond just thinking or feeling or wherever our tendency is, we get surprised to see how much more there is, and how much more support and goodness and light and clarity can be available for us. Thank you for joining me in Sun and Moon Yoga Studio. Um, Check out our website, sunandmoonstudio.com, for the many offerings virtually and in our Arlington, and now very soon in our new Fairfax studio, which has a beautiful, we were there yesterday, some of us, for a blessing of the space. It's got a beautiful new, more maybe it's a evolved space, I think, from our last Fairfax space, but also very familiar. The design is very much like a continuity of the spaces we've had and the one in Arlington, and feels like home. Ciao, ciao.